Yep. Here we go again. Same soup, Jerry Heat. I know y'all already seen me, but this is the Joe Show. And I'm gonna bring in Joe. Y'all already know all the accolades. Heisman runner up, should have won the NFL. All these Hall of Fames. He in 8 Hall of Fames. We get it. But Joe, we got a lot to talk about, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and get right on into it, man. We ain't gonna play around with it tonight. Let's just
There's
go
no
ahead and
need to
start
play
off.
with it.
Ain't no
There's
need to
no
play
need to
with it.
play around with it, Naughty, man. There's a
Right,
lot going on, man. What better time for sports guys like you and I to chop it up this way,
right.
man? Let's get it.
All right, we got a lot to cover, man. We're gonna go ahead and start off with Lamar Jackson MVP race, and why he shouldn't be punished for winning it 2 previous times. What you got on that, Joe? What you think about Lamar Jackson and the MVP race?
Well, you can trust me, Nadia, in this situation that I've done my research. You can trust that I've watched plenty of those games. I catch myself even going back or have gone back with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson watching the all 22s. The all 22s is what that is that's the coach's copy that where you're not having commercials, you're just watching the game and watching the movements, watching coverages, watching defensive ends and how they escape and playmaking abilities of these two quarterbacks. And why can't two quarterbacks be great? And hear me, and please hear me good. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, they are great quarterbacks. Borderline being an elite all-time category type quarterback. So that's what it is. And they're having great seasons. And I've heard sometimes that, media, fans, voters will get MVP fatigue. I don't like that. And when they're saying that Lamar Jackson got it last year, Lamar Jackson might win it 3 times in a row. That makes my skin crawl for the simple fact that isn't Peyton Manning like a 4-time winner?
Right.
Those guys winning multiple MVP. Why? They earned it. I wouldn't even say deserve. They earned it on the football field. Now, Josh Allen is having a spectacular year. I mean, they have the
Yeah.
trifecta: 3 rushing touchdowns, three passing touchdowns. One game he caught a touchdown. I mean, he's doing amazing things. And when you look at the grand scheme of things for Josh Allen, we all have to put into it the weapons that they took away
Right.
and the
Right.
expectations going into the season about how he doesn't have anybody around him, doesn't have a running game, how's he going to succeed? And he dispelled that. So that's a lot of credit and kudos to him and the staff for getting that done. But that doesn't go over the head or over my head of what Lamar Jackson has done on the football field. Historic. So when you
Yeah.
up the ante and you get better numbers than you had last year, and you're more prolific and you're 4,100 yards and then 900 yards rushing, over 40 touchdowns total, responsible for highlight film after highlight film, developed into a more better passer than we saw last year. And this guy's continuing to grow. So, Lamar Jackson, you can say fatigue. You can say, what has he done to outplay Josh Allen? I would say that he's carried a team. He beat Josh Allen head to head, and the numbers are record breaking. That's a spectacular season to me. Now, when you look at an overall record, if you want to tick and tack for that now that you can,
Right.
and I don't want co-MVPs because if there's any season that could be co-MVP, like I think Steve Air McNair and then maybe it was Peyton Manning got it back in the early 2000s, do that. But I don't want Lamar Jackson punished because you've seen Lamar Jackson win it a few times.
I agree. Now, I think Lamar Jackson is going to win the MVP based off what you said. This is a historic season. I mean, when you talk about passer rating, pass completion, the yards, the rushing yards. But with that being said, let's just say Josh Allen does win the MVP this year. Is he deserving of the MVP based off those things you said of the weapons being taken away, the record that he has, and his numbers are gaudy too. He doesn't have boo-boo numbers.
No question about it. Yeah, no question about look, Josh Allen deserves MVP. And I wouldn't question any writer that says Josh Allen is the MVP. That's a discussion I'm very open for. He puts his points on the bulletin board. I put my points on the bulletin board, and then you see who won MVP and whose ever opinion. But I can sit right here before you, Nadi, right now, and give you a laundry list of why I can vote for Josh Allen. Josh Allen is very, very valuable to his football team. Very valuable. Josh Allen is the running game. Josh Allen is the passing game. He's making smarter decisions. Last year we said, Josh, can you not be so reckless with the football? Hey, Josh, can you come down and maybe not take so many chances and try to make every single play? And what did he do, Nadi? He cleaned all that up this year and has spectacular numbers while the upper management and, the front office took one of his best wide receivers and traded him away, took one of his go-to security blanket, so to speak, and took it away. So he's having a marvelous season. And I dare you, I'm going to ask you this question. I dare you to not give me a correct answer, and I know you will. Right now, you're on the spot. Would you take Josh Allen starting your team or Lamar Jackson?
Oh, Lamar Jackson, definitely.
Yeah, and you say that so quick. I wouldn't say that quick. I just would not say that quick, and I understand why or how you said it that quick. I respect that. I would probably end up having or being Lamar Jackson, but very few things that Lamar Jackson can do that Josh Allen can't.
I agree. They'll both have similar talents. The only reason why I jumped to Lamar Jackson so quickly is because I know that football a lot of times comes down to turnovers. And Lamar Jackson has proved to me in his career, he's a little bit more careful with the football than Josh Allen has been. Now, like you said, Josh Allen has cleaned up a lot of those things this year. He's not being reckless with the ball, but I'm looking at the totality of the career when I come to that conclusion so quick that Lamar Jackson is a little bit more careful with the football than Josh has historically been. But if not Lamar, it's Josh Allen. Pat Mahomes excluded, of course.
Yeah, let's take them out. Let's take him out. And I will say this too, Nadi. At the end of the day, I will pick Lamar Jackson as well. But I'm having a real tough time when I look at clutch. We're talking about this conversation, but you and I both know that Lamar Jackson is going to be really his chapter is going to be fulfilled or ended with a Super Bowl run. His numbers in the playoffs have not been great at all. 6 TDs, 6 interceptions in 6 games. That's not good. He's completing under 60% of his passes in the playoffs, while Josh Allen hadn't won or got to the Super Bowl, but his numbers are more gaudy. Now, I'm not a number guy. Numbers can, be twisted a little bit, but when you're talking about playoff success and you talk about playoff performances, Lamar hadn't stood out or backed up his backed up his regular season MVPs or play and transferred to the playoffs quite yet. And I'm very, very excited to watch that transform because I really do believe he's going to turn the corner if his offensive coordinator can stick to the script, run the ball, and let Lamar do or be who he is in the regular season, have those same responsibilities in the postseason.
Well, let's stay right there for a minute because Lamar Jackson, if what we believe to be true, he will win his 3rd MVP. Now, any guy in this league who has won multiple MVPs have also had a Super Bowl to back that up. You even got guys like Matt Ryan, who has an MVP, who has an appearance in the Super Bowl. Do you believe that Lamar Jackson will have more pressure on him going into this playoffs than Josh Allen, or do they both have the same amount of pressure, considering that Lamar Jackson is a multiple-time MVP and Josh Allen has yet to win the award?
Well, it was all the way, not even an ounce of doubt in my mind that it's Lamar Jackson, wholeheartedly. Just because of the MVPs, just because of your playoff success, and also, Nadi, because what you've said, what he has said to us on numerous amount of times. I don't care about regular season. I just want a Super Bowl. I just want to hold up the Lombardi trophy. MVPs are just stats. I want this team victory. Yeah, he's been there. He's done that. He'll sit right here and be a fly on the wall and tell us that he agrees that that doesn't matter. He's shook the commissioner's hand. He has a trophy about MVP at the house. It's more pressure on Lamar Jackson because of what happened last year with home field advantage, because of his prior playoff record. There is more pressure. What pressure would be now going into the season? I know what kind of season that Josh Allen had, MVP type season, but what pressure when you took all my weapons or most of my weapons away this offseason, when I was not expected, excuse me, to have the type of numbers that I had. So what pressure, other than the pressure he puts on himself, that I had to finally get over this hump? And I want to say this to you too, Nadi. I think that, our boy Patrick Mahomes, he's somewhat becoming the Michael Jordan of NFL. And I'm not talking about the greatness of talent and the transcender. I'm saying he's going to ruin a lot of careers because I can name to you Reggie Miller, Patrick Ewing, Stockton, Malone, some of those Barkley, some of those guys that just because you played in the Jordan era and you're Hall of Fame, you're in Hall of Famer, you can't get over the hump of this greatness and Michael Jordan and what I'm talking about now, Patrick Mahomes, because this can be Joe Burrow, this could be Josh Allen, this could be Lamar Jackson, top-notch quarterbacks that's held out or boxed out by the greatness of Patrick Mahomes.
But just like Michael Jordan, I mean, the story sounds good, but Michael Jordan didn't win every year. Michael Jordan left for 2 years, and Reggie Miller, Patrick Ewing, Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, they still didn't win. Michael Jordan retired. Reggie Miller made it to the finals. He still didn't win. So you're right that for a chunk of those years, Michael Jordan held those guys hostage. But Michael Jordan played for over 15 years. He only got 6 rings. What about those other years where you had the opportunity to be something?
Yeah, you're correct with that. But I would say back to you that Michael Jordan had a direct hand on all those guys.
Yes.
Eastern Conference and Ewing and Reggie Miller, those and Barkley. And then when Barkley went to the West Coast, he played those guys in the finals, whether it's the Eastern Conference finals or the whole NBA finals. I mean, he was the, I guess, antidote to those guys. But again, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, they have a great opportunity this year. And Patrick Mahomes is lingering. But when you talk about, he is lingering and he's going to be healthy. Everybody's going to be healthy. At the end of the day, I still think that Lamar Jackson, with the team that they have built around him, he's got to be Super Bowl appearance this year. Or must I say, or dare I say, it's a failure.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because we see that the first round is Baltimore and Pittsburgh, which Pittsburgh has been his nemesis. Okay, so you got to deal with Pittsburgh, and at some point, you still have to deal with Michael Jordan, aka Patrick Mahomes. So if Lamar Jackson is to climb this mountain and to get to finally where he needs to go, or where we want him to see him go, or where he wants to be, how great is the run that he's going to have to be on? Let's talk about MVP of the regular season, and then you have to make this historic playoff run because you're going to face all the teams that know everything about you, all your negative tendencies.
Sure shot, without the shadow of a doubt, that he would be considered an all-time great. He would be considered an all-time great if you beat Pittsburgh, you beat Josh Allen, then you beat Patrick Mahomes, and then you go on to win the Super Bowl and probably win Super Bowl MVP. You're going to immediately go down. Your career is Hall of Fame worthy at that point, which probably Hall of Fame worthy right now. But that would solidify Lamar Jackson as a trend setter, as a icon, as a guy that, the face of the franchise, the face of the league. Still up there with Patrick Mahomes, but you would have gotten your championship. You would have gotten everything there is to win in the National Football League. So no doubt about it. But what I have to see is Lamar Jackson. Why I feel so comfortable about him doing that is if I see the Lamar Jackson that I saw last year regular season, this year regular season, making plays, being dynamic in the pocket, knowing when to use his legs, knowing when to use his arm, being deadly accurate as a passer. Oh, by the way, if he do all those things with the running game of Derrick Henry, he should. And I don't want it to come out that if they lose to Pittsburgh, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, that's the Lamar we didn't see in the regular season, because that's what's been going on previously. Every time they lose in the playoffs, we'd be like, what happened to Lamar? It looked like they had a beat on him, or had his number, or inopportune turnover. And I know about Zay Flowers last year, and that bad fumble that turned momentum, or lost a little mojo in that game. I understand that, but it's going to fall on Lamar Jackson's shoulders, no doubt about it. No doubt. And I want to see the real Lamar Jackson. Like in the playoffs, we have seen the real Josh Allen. Maybe his team didn't go all the way to the Super Bowl, but we've seen Josh Allen play at an elite level in the playoffs. I haven't quite seen Lamar Jackson play that way.
Well, shout out to Oz Newsome for making that his last pick, his best pick. John Harbaugh for trying to go on another run again. But down in the South, we're not seeing that same thing out of our general manager and head coach with Rich McKay. And from Rich McKay to Terry Fontenot, I don't know which one of them is really in control, to Raheem Morris. What do you think about this season for the Atlanta Falcons, considering everything that they invested into it to make the playoffs? I think the playoffs was going to be their Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was the goal. I mean, you heard too much about win the division, get into the playoffs, host a playoff game. And that's fine and dandy, but every team, every organization, their primary goal is to get to the Super Bowl. And as I look at this season, I say ultimate failure. Ultimate failure to what's the improvement? One game from making all the adjustments, spending all the offseason money. Justin Simmons, we know about Kirk Cousins and paying him $180 million, 90 of it guaranteed for 2 seasons. And let's be honest, he was a broken down man. Or he got broken down throughout the season. You knew he was coming off an Achilles injury. And to double down on that, you didn't shore up your defense, your pass rush, because with the overall pick, you drafted Michael Penix Jr. Oh, I get it, Joe. He's going to be the face of the franchise. He's going to be the future. We don't know that. We see good signs. We see good things about how he played in 3 games, but you went 1-2 in those 3 games. And he made some mistakes as his own. But what I would like to say to you, Nadi, is that I don't trust upper management. I don't trust the front office, because I don't know who's in charge. I don't know who's in charge at all. And I think Rich McKay is still meddling. I think Rich McKay has still gotten the ears of Arthur Blank. Because here's the deal. I mean, Arthur Smith, when Arthur Smith was hired, Rich McKay was the lead guy in that. Rich McKay hired Arthur Smith before he hired a general manager. Strike one. And then after that season, it was a debacle. Then when you had to fire Arthur Smith and go to a coaching firm and hire Raheem Morris, you so-called demoted, Rich McKay from CEO to the Atlanta United, and he didn't have any front office decisions. He wasn't in the collaborative discussions about hiring a new coach. But I don't believe that. How can you have a relationship with Arthur Blank since 2004, been executive of the year countless amount of times, one of the 100 most influential, people in the NFL, and you're going to tell me that Mr. Blank is not going to lean on him? Mr. Right. Blank, their friendship and what they have and what they've been through, not going to ask him about things? Yeah, I get the title, and I get you're going to leave it up to some other guys. But at the end of the night, and at the end of the day, when you are mulling over decisions, you're going to call that guy you trust. You're going to call and see what Mr. McKay has to say about this. Hey, Rich, man, I just wanted to call you and run this by you and just get your thoughts. I have my feelings, but what's your thoughts about it? You're a seasoned vet. You've been around the National Football League for 35 years. What is your opinion? And then when the Atlanta Falcons are going to say that it's a collaborative effort, right? Between who all is the collaborative effort in between? Greg Beatles, Rich McKay, Terry Fontenot. Who's going to make that final decision? And then who signed off on Michael Penix on that draft? Who signed off, at the end of the day on the signing of Kirk Cousins and paying him all that money? Who is signing off on those things? So that's why I see it a little bit, because I'm a little confused of who's coming out with leadership. Where does the buck stop as far as drafting, personnel decisions, and I know coaching decisions who it comes to? Hopefully it's just Raheem Morris, but I can't tell you I can't tell you a positive outlook other than the future. You have Michael Penix. The future is kind of bright. I can't tell you other than Bijan Robinson, maybe Drake London, what's positive about this 2024 season that the Atlanta Falcons put out there.
Well, to your point, Rich McKay is Arthur Blank's football brain. Arthur Blank understands.
So you're not buying it either.
No, I mean, I've been around long enough. I understand that Arthur Blank doesn't understand too much about football. He's a businessman. He understands business, but he still wants to be involved in football activities, much like Jerry Jones does. The only difference is Jerry Jones believes he understands everything about football. Arthur Blank understands he doesn't know much about football, but I'll have a brain that I'll hire to kind of direct me on football decisions, but I'm still meddling in. And until Arthur Blank and Jerry Jones can hire the right people to run the organization and they just sit back and collect the checks, it's going to be hard for the team to have the success that they want to have. I agree.
Yeah, and I think about it the way that, even Terry Fontenot, you remember when Arthur Smith was there, the trust that he had in Rich McKay, I'm talking about Arthur Blank, was that Arthur Smith goes to Terry Fontenot and they talk. And before he hits to Arthur Blank, they have to communicate with Rich McKay. And then Rich McKay goes to Arthur Blank with whatever they came up with. That was the last regime. And all of a sudden, when you strip him of his title and say he's not going to be involved in personnel or football decisions, it's only going to be Atlanta United. Is that just going to go away? All that trust, all that insight from just 3 years prior that you gave Rich McKay is going completely out the window. Now, I understand he might not have as much control, but when push comes to shove and you want to lean on a voice and lean on somebody that's been with you through thick and thin, you're going to lean back on some of the expertise of Rich McKay. And that might undermine, and that might have a little bit of difference of opinions in that war room when it comes down to making decisions. I'm not sold on the right decisions going to be made in this upcoming draft, because again, you don't have a third round pick because of the Matthew Judon. You have your fifth pick taken away because the tampering by Kirk Cousins, speaking out of turn.
Right.
So now you have to be very strategic in how you're going to get a pass rush, how you're going to show up the defense. All those type of things have me iffy about the Falcons and want to think that the future is bright. I just don't have trust at all in the front office, whether it's collaborative, whether who's making the ultimate decision, that they will make the right decisions.
Right. Well, considering that, and I'll say this, when they hired Arthur Smith, I thought that was a terrible hire. I thought Arthur Smith is a product of nepotism in the NFL, based off his father being the founder of FedEx and the relationships that FedEx has with the NFL. Okay, you fire Arthur Smith because he done a horrible job. Then you hire a guy who you previously fired. So I want to know, what was your thoughts on Raheem Morris being hired as a coach? Did you think that was a good hire, or did you think they could have done better at making that decision?
I was a fan of hiring Bill Belichick because I thought that the Falcons needed a culture change. I thought that the Falcons needed some accountability on the football field. I didn't want anybody to lose their jobs up in the front office and management, and I think that was going to be the case. What everybody was fearful for, that Coach Belichick was going to clear house and make a lot of decisions, wanted his people around. But when Raheem Morris got hired, I was down with it. I was down with it because I thought he had grown. I thought he had learned from his previous stint with the Bucs. I thought he had learned being the defensive coordinator under Sean McVay, winning a Super Bowl championship with that defense. I thought he had learned and grew from being a young head coach. But I have to be honest with you, Nadi, I didn't see it this year. I didn't see the clock management. I didn't see the in-game adjustments. I didn't see the football guy that where a situational football, whether to go for it on fourth down whether to go for a 2-point conversion. I didn't see him from game to game getting better. I saw him from not learning from mistakes. I thought the past game, when you know that your defense was sputtering and you knew that you lost the game against the Commanders on the coin flip, that Washington got the ball and went straight down and scored a touchdown. Maybe this time when you scored, go for 2, because last time out and you just tied it up and lost a coin toss. You went and tied it up with the extra point. You lost the coin toss, and by the way, the same thing happened again. And you talk about fireball offense with Terry Fontenot and some of those guys. I thought just the clock management of the Commanders game was a fireball offense.
It was awful.
Yeah, and I think that's a little bit too far with me going, but that's how I feel. It's up there with you don't have any other responsibilities. That's why I really love a CEO type coach like a Mike Tomlin, guys like Dan Campbell that oversees everything. They don't have a defensive headset calling the plays. They don't have an offensive headset calling the plays, and they're not too entwined with the special teams. They're overseeing everything. So what is that Raheem Morris could have been doing while you got Zach Robinson calling the plays, except watching the time, having his mindset of when you need to burn one, preparing for the next opportunity to get more downs, get your kicker that you got off the street previously or prior a couple of weeks early, been better field goal range. Correct. Those are the type of things I want my CEO, my head coach, to be able to deliver. And I ask you a question, Nadia, and this is serious question. What are the attributes? What does Raheem Morris bring to the team? I've watched him Sunday after Sunday for 17 games. He's staring at the scoreboard. He's gazing. He's got his arm folded. He very seldom really gets engaged with somebody who's jogging off the football field. I don't see that Microsoft pad or Microsoft Edge in his hand on the sideline talking to anybody about an adjustment defensively, offensively, because he's been on both sides of the spectrum, coaching offense and defense. I don't see the in-game coaching. So I don't know the attribute that Raheem Morris brings to this football team. Help me out, brother.
I think he was a great interviewer.
And he's a great motivator.
He has a great personality. He can motivate defense. But like we was talking about earlier before the show, sometimes you're just a good coordinator. He's a great defensive coordinator, no doubt in my mind. But as a head coach, as a guy who know how many timeouts you got and when to use them, that's not up his alley, man.
Yeah, and then he got a little defensive in his press conference. He got a little defensive as far as, owning up to maybe when you have, Monday morning quarterback and able to review the situation and scout yourself, self-scout, and wonder if you're going to do anything different. You got to say, yeah. You must. To take the fans out of it, was it a prudent decision? Was it a decision that you say that it was the best one? Now, he's in the spirit of the moment. I'm sure that he thought that those plays that he called, obviously Michael Penix Jr. missed Darnell Mooney on a corner route, a flag route that was wide open that would put you in a better field goal scenario. But however, regroup, in my opinion, huddle up for the young quarterback, whether the defense was going to get set or not, calm things down for the guy. And I think he missed an opportunity on that. And the record is the record. He was not successful as a head coach at Tampa Bay. And the first season as the Falcons, he was not successful again. Right. So now that overall head coaching record is not that good. Should he get another shot? Yeah, I would love for him to get another shot. But what's the improvement? When you assess yourself in the offseason, what are you going to get better at? Do we need to hire a clock management coach to help you out? You don't really have any other responsibilities. I used to get on Arthur Smith a lot when he was here because I didn't think he was involved in the total team because he was always looking at his play sheet. He was always looking for the next call or the next series offensively, and he missed some things as an overall head coach. But Raheem Morris, his responsibility is just that, be an overall head coach. And I think this first season as a full-time head coach for the Falcons, I think it was very, very disappointing.
Very disappointing. Speaking of these disappointments, we saw the Georgia Bulldog team lose last week to Notre Dame, but they had a backup quarterback. But let's talk about the playoffs a little bit, this college football playoffs. and you had the 12 teams. How do you think this 12-team system is working out so far?
Excellent. Excellent in the terms of when you look at totality in the teams that they said or people were saying should have gotten in, they lost their bowl game. Now, I know that you probably didn't prepare, or you probably had some dropouts or some guys that hit the transfer portal or didn't want to play because it was a meaningless bowl game. I get that. But Alabama losing, some of the other teams not putting forth their best effort, Ole Miss losing, so those guys that was hyping about that, they need to put up or shut up type thing. But it was the first year. So I have no gripes about that. But what I would say to you, Nadi, is the fact that, do you want that first round bye? Do you want that first round bye to where you have to sit out or not play meaningful football in 2.5, 3 weeks? It's easy to practice. Yeah, you get healthy, but you don't get that game speed at all. The 4 teams that had a bye, Boise State, when you're talking about Arizona State, Georgia, and who's the other team that – in Oregon, I'm sorry. In Oregon, they all
Oregon.
they all lost the first round. They all lost their first battle, their first game, and they all started slowly. They all started slowly in the first quarter. It took a little time to get the feel, the speed of the game, and it took a little time to get in sync, whereas the team they were playing had played the previous week, or 10 days prior. So those type things, it goes into question. Yeah, everybody wants to buy because a buy is beneficial, but how you prepare, how you practice with that buy is telling, because 4 teams just losing the first game or opening round, I don't think that happened by happenstance.
Yeah, well, that bye, it kind of pretty much guarantees that you're going to be in the playoffs. You don't have to have your decisions in the hand of the decision makers, which what happened with Alabama and a couple of the Ole Miss, a couple of these other teams. So if you got that bye, at least I'm in. But I agree with you. Those teams that are on the bye look very rusty. And now we're down to Notre Dame and Penn State. They're going to play in the Orange Bowl tomorrow, 7:30. Then you got Friday, you have Ohio State going against Texas. Seemingly 2 great games. What are your thoughts on these games? Which one are you really having your eye on, your focus on?
Oh man, I have my focus on Ohio State and Texas, but I'm telling you, Penn State and Notre Dame is just as intriguing to me as Ohio State and Texas. And here's why: it's because we're talking about 4 balanced teams. We're talking about 4 overall team, special teams, defense, offense. Penn State, excellent defense, excellent running game with 2,000-yard rusher, excellent tight end and the pass receiver, quarterback Drew Aller, which I think is the best quarterback out of the 4 right now, whom I would trust more than any other of the quarterbacks. I would trust him more than Riley Leonard, especially passing the ball. Riley Leonard can get, I think he had 15 touchdowns with his legs. He can do a little bit of ground and power with his power and the speed, getting out of the pocket. Quinn Ewers is so up and down. If he's on, he's on. But sometimes in big moments, he disappears. I can't really trust that. But I know when he's rolling, he can really roll. And Will Howard from Ohio State, man, he has so many weapons around him. And when he's comfortable in that pocket, leaning on that running game. All 4 of those quarterbacks, one thing about it, that offensive line in the running game, they are their blankets. They are their babies. Outstanding running game by both teams. Outstanding run defense by all 4 teams. So I'm looking at the guys that the least turnovers, the guy that's going to really hone in, the coach that's going to hone in and stick to the game plan, the coach that can make adjustments to the adjustments, coming out of halftime and seeing what the other team is trying to do and then making adjustments to that adjustment. And also, the thing that you've been working on the entire season, trick plays. I call it gadget. I call them trickums. Whatever you have, maybe it's a double reverse, maybe it's an onside kick, surprise onside kick, maybe it's a fake punt, catching somebody off guard. When are you going to call those plays? When is the right timing? Nobody knows the right time. Are you trying to gain momentum? Are you trying to take momentum away, sustain momentum, give your team a little bit of a, or give them a little bit more of a push? What are you doing? And when are you going to call those things? When are you going to call the flea flicker? When are you going to call the deep shots? Which one of these coaches are going to get in the game and play uptight and not play loose and not leave all their and make sure they shoot all the bullets out of their gun, so to speak, that no wish I shoulda, coulda after the game. And that's why I have my eyes completely on Ryan Day. Now,
Right.
James Franklin is in a situation that he hadn't won many big games, but I don't think this is a must. I think he's done enough just to secure who he is with Penn State, and they're ascending as a program. And same with Notre Dame and, Marcus Freeman. They're ascending as a program. I love the direction they're going, but it's not much pressure on that at all. Penn State, no. Texas, Sarkisian, yes, he was to the playoffs last year, absolutely. So he has a little taste of it, but I don't think it's extreme pressure that if you lose this game, either, the semifinal or the finals for the national championship, that everybody will go up in array. But Ryan Day's on the hot seat. Now, I think he's done enough to keep his job, no doubt. 10 wins. Who are you going to do? Who are you going to get to replace him? But, man, the way these guys have been playing.
He can be replaced.
Yeah, he can be replaced, but just by name. That is success, Dottie.
But he's a major recruiter in that area.
Yes, it's success. No way you want to you want to slice it. However you want to slice this piece of pie, he is successful. I mean, not necessarily national championship or bust, but he's very successful. But he's also shrunk a little bit in big games and not have his team played up to par in big games. So I have my eye on Ryan Day. Will he let Chip Kelly call an offensive game, spread it around, get the ball to Jeremiah Smith, do some things that he did throughout the entire season, or play a little tight? Because coaches, as well as players, get tight in some of these tight big games.
Right. College fans are some of the most loyal fans you're going to find. I mean, these people travel with their teams. They go above and beyond to support their teams. Now, Loose Nick is showing in the chat, and he lives out in Dallas, that there's supposed to be this major snowstorm coming really soon. Maybe they'll be in by Friday. Do you think that'll slow these fanatics down from getting into the game?
No, not at all. Not at all. Again, the only way that'll slow those fanatics down is that if you close the roads, you tell them specifically not to travel. You close the airports down and tell them specifically not to travel. But look at this, man. It's blue bloods. There are blue bloods all across the college football semifinals going into the national championship game. Yes, Notre Dame, they traveling. They're going to travel, and they're going to keep traveling. Penn State, they're going to travel. They live up in the cold. They can handle that cold weather, blizzard storms. They're going to travel. Buckeye Nation, going to travel. The Longhorns, with all that money, they're going to travel. And that's why I'm so intrigued right now. And I dare say to you, I picked Ohio State way back when when they lost to Michigan. I picked them to win the national championship, because I just thought they had their back against the wall that way, and they were going to come out guns a-blazing and leave all the chips on the table, or push all the chips in the middle. But Notre Dame, what kind of story is that? What kind of story would that be? And I know Notre Dame they have their haters, they have their guys that can't stand them because of. But that's generations and generations and generations. That's touchdown Jesus. That's NBC lifetime contract of owning their own rights, not in a conference. So they are a story. And to have Notre Dame win the national championship, I'm not rooting for it. But dare I say, I don't think it's a bad thing for college football at all.
Right. Do you seeing that the Cotton Bowl is played in AT&T Stadium in Dallas? Do you see this somewhere as a home game for Texas, and does that give them any advantage in your opinion?
Absolutely. Absolutely. A home field advantage. I wouldn't say home field advantage, home area advantage, home surroundings advantage, accessible advantage for your fans, the travel, familiarity, all those type things. Yes. Now, again, man, I'm from the school that the field is going to be 100 yards long, 53 1/3 wide, go play football. but I cannot tell you, honestly, that it's going to be a 50-50 split crowd with Texas and Ohio State. I think it'll be 60-40 Texas. We're just the accessibility and the conveniency of which the Texas Longhorns can get there, and that will be a factor. I think that Ryan Day and his offensive staff, Chip Kelly, Will Howard, the quarterback, they're going to be working on the clap snap. They're going to be working on silent snaps while they're practicing leading up to this, or while they did practice at their prospective home base. They practice on silent counts because they can get loud in there, and Jerry's World can get packed and all that space. I think Texas will have the fanfare, the most fans there, definitely over Ohio State, in my opinion.
And the thing that's intriguing about the Penn State Notre Dame game that everyone's talking about is that the fact that you have James Franklin against Marcus Freeman, two African American coaches or black coaches, however you would like to say it. And for the first time in college football history, you will have a black head coach in the national championship. How important or how big is that in your opinion?
Immeasurable. You can't even measure it. I'm ecstatic about it. I'm ecstatic about the opportunities for those two brothers. I love the fact, I love the way they have embraced it. They're speaking about it. They know about the history. They're not shunning away from it. And the most important thing is about opportunity. Opportunity for other black young coaches, coordinators, defensive coaches, assistant coaches to look at it. Oh, yeah, we have a chance. We're on the stage. And I know, Nadi, that numerous amount of black coaches has had the opportunities to get to that level, to get to a national championship, and whatever happened. But here we are. And when you see something, it's different when you hear something and then you actually see it. Is the difference between you have a dream or you have a expectation that something could happen in future seasons. But this is happening. On that sideline come this weekend. I think they play Thursday. Don't they play Thursday, Penn State?
They play tomorrow at 7:30.
Yes, they play tomorrow at 7:30.
Hard Rock Stadium, Miami, Orange Bowl.
Thank you, brother. Everybody's going to see on both sidelines African-American coaches. There's no doubt about it. They're going to show the decision-making. They're going to show the demeanor, the posture of those coaches, the communication, how their team plays, how disciplined their teams are. They're going to see all that, and it's going to be a complete, replica of the head coach, the CEO. So when they see the players play, when they see the discipline of those players, they're going to translate back to that's a well-coached team. That's a leader of men. So that could only bode well for the African-American community and coaches, up-and-coming coaches, that can be given more opportunity, that it has been done. Not that it will be done, that it has been done. And I love the way those guys are representing the African-American black community, of being stand-up Christian faith guys and leading young men, no doubt. All young men. And see, that's, again, when you try to misconstrued of, I'm just rooting for black quarterbacks, black coaches. I am, but I'm rooting for student athletes to be developed and get the leadership that they need to get and stand out gentlemen like those two guys, James Franklin and Marcus Freeman. That's exactly what they're doing, educating and promoting and instilling values for young men.
Also, considering the success that Marcus Freeman and James Franklin are having, being on this stage, and one of them is going to be in the national championship, how much does that go as far as getting other black coaches that are on your staff coaching opportunities so that more black coaches can actually have jobs in the college football game?
Hey, that's huge. That's a great question, Nadi, and you're spot on. I'm glad you brought that up. You're spot on with that. Tremendously. It's going to be like every other coach, every other great coach that's won. What do? It's a copycat league. What do you want to do in your off season? You want to view film. You want to view tape. What did they do in recruiting? What did they do with spring ball? How much time did they give their players off between practices? You're going to do that, and they're going to talk about your coaching staff. It's going to be no different than Coach Kirby Smart, Fran Brown going up to Syracuse. You have Dan Lanning going to Oregon. You have those guys, Nick Saban, Alabama. How many, he had a coaching, carousel each and every year because they want to test themselves with Winners. Everybody wants to pick from your program because that guy that's coaching under you, the assistant coach, coordinator, special teams coach, they've got what it takes. If they've been instilled the way you do it to get to the very, very top. And if I don't have that on my staff, or I have not reached the pinnacle, what did you do to get there? Who did you surround yourself with to be able to get there? What notes did you jot down from that particular coach to enhance your future? So I love that. And for me to talk to any other coaches, up and coming coaches, jot down, have yourself a notebook of your leader. Have yourself a notebook of a Marcus Freeman, James Franklin, Steve Sarkisian, Ryan Day. And when you get to that point to where you have some things that you will do different, you'll have some things that you'll do the same, but you'll get a lot of things that when you get opportunity comes, that you'll be prepared because of all the lessons that you got from your mentors and you got from the good ones. And on the flip side, not everything is going to be good. You're going to be learning from some coaches that when I get my opportunity to get my chance to lead men, I'm going to do it a little bit differently. So all those things, if you do your inventory and make sure you self-scout, pay attention, jot notes, ask questions, I think it's going to benefit other coaches, and definitely Marcus Freeman and James Franklin. They're going to be ready for other coaches to pluck at that tree, their coaching tree, because of their success.
Well, Joe, it's time to put you on the hot seat.
Let's go.
Cotton Bowl, Ohio State, Texas. Who comes out of that game as the successor and why?
I think Ohio State is going to come out on top. I think it's very, very hard to stop that train that's rolling right now. It's only taken two games. Right now, Friday will be the third game. They're not going to falter. I think against Michigan, they had their down game of the season. Early on in the season against Oregon, they had their down game of the season. Now they're rolling. They understand that we have a beast in Jeremiah Smith that's unstoppable. He dictates coverages. He dictates fronts, and we're going to take advantage of that. We're not waiting until the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. We're going to start off with the go-to guy. Defensively, I think that, with Caleb Downs in the back end, the cornerbacks, I think they'll be able to fluster Quinn Ewers a little bit more than he's been flustered, putting pressure on him. And the overall defense, I think, is going to shut Texas down, because Texas, whatever you say about Quinn Ewers and Sark and his offense, they want to run the football downhill. But Ohio State has a stout defensive line, defensive front, and I think that's going to be the deal. And dare I say, Nadi, that's one of the two games that I don't think is going to be an interesting game for 4 quarters. I think Ohio State is going to pull away and win by double digits.
Yeah, that number 4 is a monster out there.
Transitional type player, man. They come along once every 5 to 10 years.
Right. I think
he can actually lead right now.
Right. And then let's go up to tomorrow's game at the Orange Bowl. Notre Dame, Penn State. Who you got and why?
What a clash. What a clash of mirror. I'm talking about mirror styles. Penn State wants to run the ball, play action, go deep. Like I said earlier, 2,000-yard rusher, a quarterback that's very, very heady. He's cerebral. He gets you in good plays, out of bad plays, and have an outstanding Tyler Warren tight end that makes plays all over the football field. They get him involved, and they can stop the run defensively. I just don't trust Notre Dame right now in the passing attack of Riley Leonard and company. They have no go-to guys on the outside. Yes, the defense is pretty good. Matter of fact, their defense is top 5 in the country, very stout, even losing one of their top defensive linemen. They play solid defense, and they love running the ball. I just think this is going to be a game that you're going to have to trust Riley Leonard throwing the ball more than he has. He's going to have to be deadly accurate against that secondary of Penn State, which is pretty stout. I just think it's going to be a close one. I don't trust either one of those kickers. They've been struggling the entire season, and Notre Dame's kicker and Penn State's kicker. So it's going to come down to who can make a play at the end, and again, who can take advantage of the turnovers and red zone opportunities. But I'm going Penn State to win that ball game. Not without the shadow of a doubt, but close one by the hair of my chinny chin chin.
Right. Speaking of close games, we don't talk basketball much, and it is after Christmas though. And basketball
now we can. Now it's just a tad bit.
Basketball season has officially started, and you talking about the hair of the chin. That shot Trae Young made last night against the Utah Jazz at half court. He pulled up like it was a regular 3-pointer from half court to win the game 124-121. The Hawks have been on the test since the Christmas break, and now they find themselves 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. Trey, 24 points, 20 assists.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And he's had a bunch of those games this year, leading the league in assists. Just talk a little bit about, you follow basketball, I'm sure. Just talk a little bit about the development of Trae Young to this point from where he's come from. And the Hawks seem like they might be a real threat come playoff time.
Yes. Yeah. I like how you said that. And I agree. A real threat. I think this year they will not, if they keep going and keep maturing, keep gelling together. I don't think they would have to play the play-in game like they've done for the past 3 years. I think that's out of the window. And I have to give a shout out to the front office, Landry Fields and those guys, because much maligned about John Collins and the offseason moves, bringing in, what's his name that went to the Pelicans, the two guard.
Oh, yeah, they got rid of DeJounte Murray.
There you go. My bad. DeJounte Murray and all those that they couldn't work together. But the trade they made with Dyson Daniels was a little bit of trade under the radar. But what they got back from the trade is a fit for the culture, a fit for the team, a fit in attitude. And now your defense is playing much better. Now your defensive enthusiasm and your defense just mindset has changed because of one guy. You got Trae Young hustling a little bit more on defense. You got the rotation being a little bit more solid. The want to being a little better. You got DeAndre coming off the bench now. For a long time, DeAndre Hunter, we wanted him to be traded out there, traded away.
Right.
Maybe his role, maybe his niche on this basketball team is providing 16, 17 points off the bench, which he's excelled in that role right now. But Trae Young, although the numbers are not there as far as statistically, the percentage, field goal percentage and 3-point percentage, 3-point field goal percentage, I love the way he's playing the basketball game right now. Getting others involved. He's not taking a plethora of shots. He's not shooting you out of games. He's not shooting you back in games. He's playing like a true point guard, a true scoring point guard. And his point and his percentage is going to constantly go up. But dare I say, maybe his numbers are not there, Nadi, but I think he's playing some of the better basketball he's played in his career with the overall leadership and the overall play of getting everybody involved and doing some of the little things. And if they can continue to do that, Quinn Snyder has got him bought in at the way he wants it to be played and the style that he wants Trae Young to be playing. I'm very fine with Trae Young averaging 24, 25 points and 12 assists and dishing it out and getting his teammates involved because we all know he's a closer, no doubt about it.
Right. That was gonna be my point exactly. Like you say, his numbers aren't there. His numbers are exactly where I want them to be. Outside of field goal percentage can be a little bit better for any player, but I always wanted him to be a facilitator first. We don't need a scoring point guard. We got guys who can score. Can you get them the ball in position to score the ball as a leader, as the point guard of the team? And Trae Young has excelled at that this year. And him and Jalen Johnson seem like, I think they're both all-star worthy.
I'm glad you brought up Jalen Johnson because that's another move by the offseason, by the upper management in the offseason where we were talking about. I was like, whoa, boy, that's a little premature giving Jalen Johnson that money right now this early. But they saw something, and if he keeps this up, maybe next season he's going to be an all-star because he's putting up all-star type numbers, double-double, defense, length. He's a two-way guy that he can guard 1 through 3. He can rebound, block shots, and the youngness of that team. And even Trae Young assist is not stat sheet stuffing. His assist is being aggressive, penetrating, finding open guys with his lob, with his vision. So I totally agree with you. His overall demeanor and the way he plays and sees and feels the basketball game right now is a little bit different.
All right. Well, Joe, what we're going to do, we're going to take a short, quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to get in the huddle with Joe Hamilton. I
love it, brother.
This break. So y'all stay tuned to the Joe Show. All right, and we in the huddle with Joe Hamilton. What you got for us this week?
Yeah, real quick, Nadi. I just thought about this week, man. Just going through these quarterbacks, going through basketball, going through leadership, and I came to the finalization. I came to the period exclamation point that there's a very distinct difference between a boss and a leader. Very distinct difference. You want a leader in your corner, not a boss. A boss sits there on the outside, pointing, telling you what you should do, not really teaching, not really showing you examples. He's almost like a dictatorship. Now, I understand the title boss. Everybody has a boss, but is your boss a leader? Is your boss correcting you? Is your boss willing to get in that foxhole? Is your boss someone that's been there, done that, not asking you to do some things that he hasn't done before, not willing to get his hands dirty and do some of the tough work? A leader does all those things. A leader does not only tell you what you can do, he teaches you how to do it. He's there when you make a mistake, encouraging you. He's showing you in detail how things are going to be done. Why? Because teamwork makes the dream work. He's not want somebody out there playing the blame game. He's trying to get a solution to the problem. He's trying to find answers to the equation. He's doing things to help the overall team, whereas a boss is sitting there, a me guy. I built this organization. I'm the money maker. I fund everything, and that's all fine and dandy. But when nut cutting time comes, who are the guys under you that's willing to work for you, lay their life on the line, be selfless for you because they care about you in the way you treat them, that you in it with them? Yeah, you're my leader. Yeah, you're on top of me. Yeah, you're the boss. But are you in this with me instead of being on top, pointing and directing and dictating? Nobody wants that. Everybody wants a leader that's in the foxhole.
That was beautiful, man. That was beautiful. We got we agree. I think definitely, I mean, even taking it out of the context of sports, most people they have a hard time. They have to go to work, but they're stressed out or they dislike their job because they have a boss. But when they go to work and they have a leader who's the boss being a leader and somebody you can learn from, somebody that pushes you to be great, somebody who's also willing to pull you up so that you can get that promotion or you can be at that next level so that you can one day fill their shoes. Then you enjoy your craft, you enjoy going to work, and you look forward to not hitting the glass ceiling, so to say.
Well said, Nadi. And that's why it can transcend or transform into any area or any arena of your job, your success, your profession. Because again, are you willing to do the little things? And that's exactly right. Your boss wants the best for you. Who doesn't want the best for you? Your boss wants the best for him. Yeah, he's still the leader. He's your boss. But when he gets to that podium, he's going to tell you or tell everybody, I got here. I put in hard work. I did the little things. Whereas a leader, same position, when he gets to that podium, he's going to say that I couldn't have done any of this without everybody around me to lift me up. I'm here because of the people around me, and that's the difference. And I love it.
Well, that was beautiful. Well, Joe, we got a lot in that hour, man.
My goodness, that was prime time, Nadi.
Yeah, that was great, man. That was awesome, man. We covered a lot. We covered Lamar MVP. We covered the college football playoffs. We call
dysfunctional Falcons.
Dysfunctional Falcons. Trey Young and the Hawks doing their thing. A little bit of basketball, which we haven't really gotten into basketball too much, but I look forward to getting into the basketball. It's my second favorite sport. So
same here,
man. Great show, man. Y'all stay tuned to next Wednesday, but we're gonna do this again right here on the Joe Show. We got a lot coming on the Joe Show. We got graphics coming up, Joe. We got to get you a show opener that's in the works. We got to get you a graphic for In the Huddle with Joe. Joe,
Mommy, I made it.
Hey, and I enjoyed you allowing me to be your center this evening. I just hike you the ball. You the quarterback. I'm the offensive coordinator. You can audible the play if you want to. That's fine. But
that's what I was just talking about. That's what I was just talking about, Nadi. If you're gonna put me at the top like that, I must give credit where it's due. Shout out to Nadi, man, for being my sidekick and being a teammate that I couldn't get it done without. Appreciate you, man. We scored a touchdown tonight, man. We didn't settle for a field goal, man. We scored a touchdown.
Yeah, I called that timeout at the right time too.
Yeah.
The next week,
Yes,
Joe
sir.
Hamilton, Naughty, right here on the Joe Show. We'll see y'all. We appreciate y'all for chiming in and coming in. Thank you.